Good now, revolutionaries, and welcome to Rise Up After Dark.
Rise up after dark.
My allergies have been running crazy today, and so I usually hit the pause button, but I had a big old sniff there. Sorry about that.
You want to know what also is running crazy? The waves in your hair.
The
Robert
waves
is
in my
totally
hair.
right. If you look at TikTok, that angle on your hair is just super. Oh, no, right there, too. It's just very luscious.
Thank you very
Very
much.
thick.
I'll give myself a point for that. This is your weekly
You deserve a
show
point.
for expert commentary, or at least commentary, demonstrations of how to do your own crypto research. That thing everybody is always telling you to do, but that few people will show you how to do. We have got a great panel. The regulars, Will, Alex, myself, and becoming a regular, our good friend, Lindsay Poss. Lindsay, thank you so much for joining us on the show tonight. So good to see you again. Do you remember?
This?
Oh yeah, do it. Give us
Okay.
a how you feel.
Yes.
Whoa!
I'm that excited.
Ding for the fireworks. Lindsay, do you remember how the point system works in the game with no rules? The rules I make
Yeah.
up? Okay,
It's
great.
extremely similar to Whose Line Is It Anyway, from what I remember.
It's extremely similar, but I had the idea
Yeah.
first. I was in a bar, I wrote it
Got
on
it.
the back of a napkin, and Drew Carey ripped me off. I swear. I'll stand
Oh,
by
right.
it.
Also,
Uh,
I requested on TikTok all by myself.
Oh,
Hell yeah.
woo! Gosh, that's fantastic. So be sure, now that Lindsay is up here
TikTok
from the
powers
Seeking
grow.
Alpha profile, to follow and also check out the Seeking Alpha podcast. For people who are unfamiliar, Lindsay, can you introduce yourself and also Seeking Alpha? Give the pitch.
Of course. My name is Lindsay Poss. I've been in the blockchain space since like 2012, early on. I was one of those early Silk Road users. It was a lot of fun. I've been following the infrastructure space for a long time, wound up working in privacy and tech policy. So I'm really, really passionate about digital privacy. And on Seeking Alpha, we talk all about different aspects of the industry. We do education. We have a lot of fun with it. And we call ourselves the intersection of Silicon Valley, crypto, Twitter, and Tinder. So it's all
Woo.
about life and work in the industry. It's fun.
I think so. And people would love to check it out. It's on all streaming platforms, Seeking Alpha Podcast. And I will answer this question that we got right at the start, which was, how do you take Will's intro to technical analysis, his trading class? Alex or Will, could you give me a real quick screen share so that I can show you how easy it is? The link is on the screen at theriseupmorningshow.com.
I got you, brother.
I love it. And I love you. Thank you. So from the riseupmorningshow.com, you open this little menu that's right here. You navigate over to courses and digital downloads at the left-hand side. And then you'll see, if you scroll down, we got all these courses to help you become a safe, confident crypto user. And Will's is right here, Intro to Technical Analysis with Will Watson. If you want to learn to read charts like Will does, this is the course for you, and you can get a discount on it if you try a premium membership. That's enough of a commercial. This is the show where we let our hair down and we talk about everything that's going on. So let's talk about everything that's going on. When I got in the studio, you were talking about what the Studio Ghibli trend. Who's going to tell everybody what this is if they missed it?
Well, I have no clue, so I need to be told as well. I totally missed it.
So if you're on Twitter, you'll see a lot of Studio Ghibli style art. If you don't know Studio Ghibli, I don't know how to help you. But very, 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 very famous animation studio. And so you can go on ChatGPT and just upload an image or multiple images that you have, and it will re-stylize it into the style of Studio Ghibli, which is just wonderful.
And I haven't seen the timeline this unified in a whole week since everybody was hating on the Solana commercial. Everybody's doing it. But Alex, the spoiler is that GPT has since got some moderation going on. When you try to upload a photo, this happened to me today, it will say, sorry, but we can't make copies of real people. And that's it. You just got to cope.
Okay.
Can you still
yeah,
work
so-
with Midjourney?
The thing is, it's a GPT improvement. GPT shipped a new image generation model. Somebody did it. And, if you want to do it the real McCoy way, you got to do GPT. I'm sure you could post the viral tweet that says, guys, if you can't do it, just do Midjourney. Lindsay, what were you going to say?
Well, I was just going to say, so I luckily had someone upload it for me and had to go through none of the work of actually making myself a Studio Ghibli. But apparently this person tried to upload a different photo and it was too spicy for it. And it's like, I'm in a suit jacket in this photo. Like, I don't
A
know what
spicy
that
suit jacket.
Yeah, I guess so.
Hayao Miyazaki got just a little horny. Yeah.
Wow, I hate to think of it that way, but thank you, Will.
I wasn't going to take it there, but this is the After Dark show. Whatever you're drinking,
during the morning show, Evan, you were all sorts of horned up.
Listen, man, you were taking what I said out of context, and if anybody wants to fact check me,
you were talking about getting filled up, and you were talking about your mouth going places, and just yourself, I mean, like brother. It was all over the place.
Listen, don't get me canceled. If you've got a drink, let us know.
You drinking milk?
No, I'm drinking milk tea. This is boba tea we've had in the fridge forever. These little packets. You want to try some? It's still really hot, baby. I was gonna save some for you.
You guys are killing me because I cracked an actual beverage and I'm the only one, and now I look like
you can have some.
I'm sorry. I returned home at like 7:47, made the world's fastest dinner, and logged on. So
it's okay, Lindsay. You can't be in trouble. You're the guest, but Will and Evan can absolutely be in trouble.
Fair.
So
I was thirsty and I need water.
The off-camera producer, Kimberly, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. We have sourced some altcoin picks from the Discord to talk about tonight. If you've got an altcoin pick, leave it in the comments. We'll try and catch it. If there's time, if you want to submit a pick, the best place to do it is discord.gg/riseup. And somebody can point you to the right thread, but that's what we're here to talk about. We have a couple, but Lindsay, first, I'd really like to hear about what you've been up to because you've been traveling. And you also today, did I hear correctly, you got to see Commissioner Peirce, our friend, give a little talk?
Sure did. Yeah. So I was at I have been traveling, which has been great, but mostly I guess it's kind of for fun, but Seeking Alpha went on the road down to Miami for a mix of business and fun, as per usual with Larissa and I. But today I was at the Blockchain Summit, which is hosted by the Digital Chamber of Commerce. They had just an absolutely stacked speaker lineup, by the way. I started off the day with Tigran Gambarian, who was the executive from finance who was wrongfully detained, and he walked through his journey with that. And he legitimately put his life on the line for his beliefs, and is just an incredible inspirational figure. 15 years in law enforcement, wildly talented investigator, worked with Chainalysis on some of the most difficult cases out there, extremely smart and talented, wrongfully detained in Nigeria for over 8 months in just squalid conditions that eventually led to very difficult health problems, and eventually freed from a series of kind of diplomatic relations, support from the industry, and all kinds of other things that finally allowed him to be free. He is just a very, very inspirational figure. So starting off the day with that was very powerful. And then, yes, I, among other people, saw Hester Peirce, who was interviewed by the chief legal officer from the Stellar Development Foundation. So of course that made me happy. And she gave a really, really wonderful speech about all kinds of, did you want to go through Tigran? I was going to say,
no, I'm just doing a little screen share for the people who get the Easter egg.
Yeah, it was so good. Yes, Hester Peirce was wonderful once again. One thing that I really like about her, which is actually echoed in regulators that I've heard across the pond, specifically in the UK, not that they've been able to get much movement with this, but she's very into having the industry help guide so long as they do it with patience. And so the first meeting of the Crypto Task Force happened last Friday. The Crypto Task Force, for those of you unfamiliar, is I think around 10 to 15 people from in and around the industry and in and around government and regulatory affairs who are basically, their goal is to sit with current regulation and administration folks, teach them about the space, figure out where regulations make sense and what things can be done to promote innovation, to protect consumers, to balance all of these things. First meeting was last Friday. She basically said she's looking forward to a lot more of those meetings. And one thing that I noted that I thought Alex would love, because one of his most banger tweets lately has been, I can't wait. I can't remember the exact wording, but it's like, I can't wait for the excitement of crypto bros to meet the speed of Congress. What was it?
We have misquoted that quote so many times on the show.
Welcome to the club, Lindsay.
Yeah, welcome to the club.
It is attention speed of crypto is about to meet the speed of Congress in real time.
Yeah. And I compared it to a Cybertruck running into a brick wall. That's how I mentally visualized that. But she noted, please be patient several times. She's like, please teach us, please continue teaching us, and please be patient. And so I thought that was a very worthwhile thing to bring up here. Alex, you were right.
They had a really good stream last week of their session. It's about 4 hours with a short break, and it's funny to see how excited all the professionals in the room get for snacks. And everybody who should have been at the White House summit, in my humble opinion, was there. It was a very diverse room in terms of thought, experience, lived experience, and really good, short 4 hours, but like it was a broaching of this important conversation. And it just made me so excited for the dialogue that I know they are seeking and which will continue the next few years.
Yet doesn't make any headlines.
Doesn't make any headlines.
Any headlines.
You should move to DC. Well, no joke. Actually, Larissa and I were in Miami when that happened, and we talked about covering it on the podcast. And she's like, "What do I say?" Well, and then she said, "I just don't feel like there's enough meat behind this." And I said, "Larissa, it's not that there's enough meat; it's that it's a boring piece of news. It is boring but important, and we're used to exciting pieces of news that may or may not be important,
or exciting pieces of news that aren't real at all." Actually, more than half the time.
But I mean,
this has been the case forever, right? That like building up key pieces of infrastructure. What is that called when you do that? By the way, I've done it 3 times today. What is it?
It's a spoonerism.
Yeah, spoonerism when you shake a tower instead of taking a shower.
Yeah, that's the 3rd time I've done that today, and every single time I'm like, what the hell is it called when you do that? But
Lindsay, I'm giving you a point for knowing what a spoonerism is. That's killer.
That's
a worthwhile thing for sure.
Thank you.
But no, every time we do that, every time we add a new piece of infrastructure to this entire industry, something that is like genuinely exciting for all of the right reasons, it's not sensational enough to get real coverage. And then we just talk about, I don't know, XRP for the 38 millionth time. And
thoughts on
XRP, Cardano, fart coin.
Yeah, unicorn fart dust, and call it a day. And it's like, no, guys, please care about the right thing.
So
Never.
Lindsay, it was a success, you'd say. The event, the summit, it's the digital asset. It's a summit, right?
The blockchain summit by the Digital Chamber of Commerce. So that's why it's
mouthful.
Yeah. Well, I think they just call it the blockchain summit, but I wanted to be clear that Digital Chamber hosted because they've been it's important to give the org credit too. They did a really, really spectacular job. I was actually on a work call when Cynthia Loomis walked she was touching my leg in front of me. Like, wow. Oh, that's the kind of day we're gonna have today.
Why don't you pass a bill for me first, Senator? Yeah.
Yeah. Where is stablecoin legislation? She's trying.
Yeah, I mean, to give credit where credit is due, she has had that piece of legislation either in the works or ready for the floor for years.
The stablecoin one, yeah.
And Angela Brandt, yeah.
And it's exactly. And not to mention the fact that the congressional caucus for blockchain. Lindsay, do you know what that caucus is called off the top of your head? There's like an internal group focused on blockchain education and legislation, which has been a part of Congress for 7 years. Mm-hmm. And I don't know that I've ever seen it get a meaningful piece of coverage. And it is a bipartisan group, and it has been.
Okay, so you're correct. That one has somewhat disbanded, and Richie Torres and Tom Emmer have launched a new one aimed at bringing folks back together. The congressional, I think theirs is called the Congressional Crypto Caucus. There was a prior caucus, and the reason why it didn't necessarily get news coverage is because it wasn't wildly successful in getting people to unify and getting off the ground.
Yeah.
So it didn't necessarily reach goals, but Emmer and Torres just launched one that is pretty exciting.
Launched one. Meme token dropping soon.
I was about to say.
Airdrop.
Okay, it's been like 3 whole weeks, Evan. So the meme the meme potential has passed.
Yeah, it's not Studio Ghibli. Solum says
no, it's not a daily routine.
Yeah,
daily routine and now Studio Ghibli.
Yeah. Okay. Nerd alert. Solum says that Georgia now has a bill, Alex, for crypto. You may or may not have known about that. A little reserve for your state. Pretty cool. Yeah, well, I'm gonna give him a ding.
I was gonna reach out to Dennis and see if he had any updates, because I know he's been. I don't think that man has sat down in 7 months. But I know there's I don't remember what the number is off the top of my head. How many states have either something written or something that's been proposed? So now, hopefully, right, meaningful progress would look like debate happening on any of that stuff, or something failing for a specific reason that can actually be worked on, or failing because it's just an indication that someone's not ready, which I think is the next step, which I would also anticipate would be bearish, short term for the markets, even though it shouldn't be, because that's just how this stuff is.
is going to go. There's no world in which like, I don't know what people have in mind when like the generic crypto bros say we can't wait for regulation or we just need regulation. Like, I don't know if any of them have ever thought so far as to say what that looks like.
No.
But I would be willing to bet that not too many thoughts have gone into that desire. Because I mean, it looks like this. It looks like things going to the floor and taking forever and languishing on the hill and then getting rejected for this little tiny piddly detail, or these two people who disagree about something completely unrelated that now clash over it's good. It's like, it's how it works. So, you know, we'll see what happens. But
well, the thing is too, and Alex, I think this is a great opportunity, and Lindsay, I think you can step in on this topic as well. But like, I feel like 85%, let's say, of people who say we need regulation say that and then have no idea what we need regulation on. They just know that regulation can be the thing because they've heard a lot of people say that it is the thing that we need in order for a number to go up. So can both of you guys just kind of, and Lindsay, you kind of crack this nut open first if you want, but like, what kind of regulation do we need? Like what are the things that we really need to kind of really advance the crypto space?
So the one that we actually need is the market structure bill. To basically, let me back up. The reason why regulation is important in general is because people don't want to create a business that then winds up getting some sort of enforcement placed on it post creation and wind up having to pay a huge fine or suffer some other consequence or something like that. And so there was, in fact, particularly in the last administration, which did a lot of regulation by enforcement rather than creating actual laws, there was a fear of creating something that could then later be put on a list or in some way suffer a punishment. A good example actually is Tornado Cash. The OFAC just dropped its sanctions on Tornado Cash that were in place since 2022. So Tornado Cash was sanctioned. Yeah, exactly. Tornado Cash was sanctioned, which meant that they basically had to put a geofence and do a whole bunch of other things to prevent people in the US from actually using their product. And alongside of those sanctions came the arrest of the two developers who built Tornado Cash. Now, the reason why that happened is because Tornado Cash was a mixer that was used by the North Korean hacking group Lazarus Group to actually distribute the funds that they had stolen from the Axie Infinity hacked back to themselves. So the issue with that is this was a novel piece of privacy technology that people deserve to have access to. And if there had been a regulatory environment that said, hey, you are allowed to create privacy technology, but if an illegal transaction happens, for example, you will have to comply with law enforcement to track what has then happened with that privacy technology, rather than you will be arrested for it. It's kind of a different angle, right? Mm-hmm. And so what regulations actually allow people to do is build out in the open, following a set of rules that they know will not get them in trouble. And instead, if something happens with particularly the use of the technology, not necessarily, there's a difference between the technology that gets built in the tech stack and regulating that, and the users that wind up using that tech stack. The goal is always to try to figure out what you can do to make sure that the users of that tech stack don't engage in illegal activities or activities that are harmful and dangerous. The tech stack itself should not be a thing that is regulated. What was previously happening is the tech stack itself was the thing that was being regulated, and that was through enforcement activities, not by saying like, hey, here's a set of rules for your tech stack that you have to follow. Now, I want to also be clear that a set of rules that your tech stack has to follow is never going to promote innovation. So that's where market structure comes in, because that part where people are actually using the technology, that's the market. And so the market structure bill is the thing that puts allowances and rules on that market to make sure that there's no counterterrorism financing, there's no anti-money laundering, there's no illegal activity in terms of like, you know, unfortunately Silk Road is a good example, but like pick an illegal activity. That's what market structure says. Like, here's how we're going to work on policing that illegal activity. And also here are the rules of the road for building your tech stack when you're trying to think about preventing that illegal activity from taking place. Market structure also will help clearly define what rules consumers in that market actually have. So not only is it on the people building the technology, but the people using it. They also get a set of rules that say, here's what you are owed if things go wrong. Here is how you can properly engage with this, all of that kind of stuff. So like if someone does go on and buy drugs or figures out a way to build out a method to buy drugs on a specific tech stack, they can go to that consumer of that tech stack rather than the tech stack itself and those developers. And so that's market structure is really that thing that says, okay, you're going to build stuff for end users. We're going to figure out the rules of the road for you to actually build those safely, transparently, securely, whatever it may be. Stablecoin legislation is a little bit different. That's actually an even like lower hanging fruit and kind of more obvious thing. I don't know. Alex, do you want to talk stablecoins? I can keep going. You're muted too. But I love the
that look with your eye up to the side. That was nice. That was good.
I agree with everything you were saying. I was going to say the one thing that I think we're missing is just the admission that most of the people who are shilling legislation just mean that they wish that there were no rules and they want everyone to be able to do whatever the hell they want. I would really enjoy seeing a re-rack of the stuff, the laws that are currently being applied to tech in the space that really don't appreciate any of the nuance. For example, one of the things we talked about recently was the application of the Howey test towards anything tokenized. And one of the fundamental pillars of the Howey test is reliant on the work of others, implying that you are simply contributing money to something, to some sort of, centralized pot of funds in which someone else is going to do something to increase the value of whatever you put in or purchased. Not taking into effect how much actual work people who hold tokens do on behalf of the tokenized asset that they're participating in or holding or whatever. I think that's worth talking about. So little things like that are like my single biggest piece before I get to stablecoins that I really want to see is like one, the admission that like, hey, we're applying antiquated rule sets that apply to old stuff that really doesn't deserve to be compared to, we're apples and oranging a whole bunch of new technology that I think is really unfair. And that is one of the things that has the industry in a stranglehold because it's like, well, shit, I don't believe that this applies to this, but I don't even know because who's to say which antiquated rule set is going to get dragged up and thrown at me in a lawsuit? And of course, my favorite go-to example is Gemini as an exchange sending requests for clarification about staking services that they really wanted to provide, getting no answers and instead getting served with a Wells notice.
Just getting served. Well, they hit with the Wells notice, yeah.
Getting sent to a Wells notice. And I'm just like, okay, so what precedent does that set for anyone who's like even considering asking the question like, hey, I want to do something. Can I do this? It's like, I don't know. Why don't you give it a try and find out?
Well, I don't know, criminal. Hey.
Yeah. So all kinds of stuff like that. I think lifting sanctions on Tornado Cash is also something that obnoxiously got very little coverage from the usual talking heads. Yeah. And I struggle to find a bigger deal in recent history that was worth talking about. Why that's not front page news is beyond me, but
it's the most important lawsuit in our space right now. Go ahead.
Oh, it is. Yeah, for sure. I also want to note, so Larissa and I did a fun thing where when we were in Miami, we went to a drag brunch, slept off the drag brunch, woke up, got ready for the club, recorded an hour-long podcast in which we talked almost exclusively about Tornado Cash and the OFAC sanctions at around midnight, and then went to the club. So we were covering it in our own way.
The way, it sounds like. I thought you were going to say we got matching tattoos. I knew it was going somewhere.
Oh, she suggested that. And we
Tornado Cash forever.
But we were on our way, like we were in the car on the way to the Miami Heat game discussing the drop of the SEC lawsuit for Ripple and the OFAC sanctions on Tornado Cash. And like, we are the most boring people. Also, we came home from the club at 2 a.m. I was reading a book for like half an hour to an hour, reading a book on and like how to teach consumers to enter into Web3. She was reading the biography of Masa Son from SoftBank's Vision Fund. Like, you cannot get two people who yo-yo back and forth between personalities more than us.
Lindsay
I don't know. I bet we could give you a run for your money.
Okay, Lindsay, I am curious on your thoughts on the stablecoin thing, because for me, that's one of that niche. I don't even know if I would call it a niche anymore, but that piece of the industry is one of the parts that I'm the most excited about, because I don't know, I'm going to get dramatic, but the implications of what stablecoin tech can do for all sorts of things really, truly cannot be understated. We talk a lot on this show about the desire that lots of people have to start investing. And then when they learn about
all of the different vehicles that are available to them to begin investing to secure a better financial future for themselves. One of the roadblocks that they run into a lot is the fact that they can't budget for it because they are overspending on so many other things. And one of the things that we constantly overspend on is middle people heavy services that involve transacting with payments. And those people don't need cuts of everything. And yet, because of the confined payment rails that we're constantly having to use for everything, you have no option except to use these middle people and lose a percentage of your transaction every single time. The math that we ran the other day was about Western Union processing, what was it, like 250,000 to 900 million transactions per year on average, and yet making almost $5 billion a year in revenue, suggesting that they are collecting roughly $15 per transaction, which even by Ethereum standards in this day and age is hefty. So like you enter a network like Stellar or Polygon or Solana or any one of those higher throughput, lower fee networks, and all of a sudden you're talking about savings in the realm of thousands of percent, which is bonkers. And even if your only priority was supporting the hegemony of the US dollar worldwide, improving frictionless access to the dollar through tokenized versions of it in countries all over the world with no government involvement required is ludicrously powerful. So just, I mean, I want to see more like you said, like a better, more pronounced rule book for stablecoin issuers to acquire proper backing and to display proper backing and to not have to worry about custody solutions and who's custodying what when and how transparency can work, and a better audit structure. I want to see stablecoin education be introduced to people. I want to see tokenization education be introduced to people. I want to see foreign policy initiatives taken on by the US to spread the use of the US dollar as a better currency all around the world using tokens. Like, I could keep going, but that's the kind of shit that really, really gets me going, because I mean, stablecoins are the coolest thing in crypto right now.
Yeah, if you want to kneecap every competitor to the US empire, put USDC all over the place. Hey,
that's how I feel about stablecoins.
That's how you feel about stablecoins, yeah, man.
Yeah, what were you? No, we'll keep going though.
Oh no, yeah, but I mean, like, it's funny. And this is more commonly known now, but you know, you go back up a year and a half ago, and all the conversation, big fear was CBDCs, central bank digital currencies, and then the industry kind of started to realize, wait, stable coins and how closely Circle, the issuer of USDC, are working with the government, and how Tether is also kind of opened themselves up to working with the FBI and the CIA for money laundering and stuff like that. And you're just like, oh, wait a second. These are the central bank digital currencies. And you there was that shift. And then also at the same time, though, it's such an amazing and powerful tool for people. I think stablecoins are great. But if you're the US empire, that's what the thought is, you want stablecoins to be adopted worldwide. You love stablecoins because one of the biggest problems for the United States, one of the biggest fears, is the reduction in buyers of US bonds globally. China was buying less bonds, Japan was buying less bonds, and the United States really wants people to buy bonds because that means we get to borrow more money, and we love spending money. It's our little addiction, and man, it's not so little. And we want to keep that gravy train rolling. We sure do. You gosh darn tootin', we do. And so if you can find more buyers of bonds, then you can continue to do that. So if people continue to use and adopt stable coins, then these stablecoin companies need to go out and buy more bonds to back the stable coins they push out and issue. So stablecoin adoption, it will not result in crypto destroying the US financial empire. It will strengthen it in a whole new pillar. And it's a fascinating conversation because you get to tie in this world of anti-establishment with the establishment of the world, and how it's an amazing tool to expand it. And it's an interesting jujitsu move by the US government.
If you're
Oh,
just
God,
joining
there
us,
it goes.
this is Rise Up After Dark. We are gathered together with our hair down, drinks in hand, hanging out with our good friend Lindsay with an A. I am so sorry. I cannot believe I even did that to you.
Evan,
Pause.
you did it to me last time too. It's fine.
I know. I could have a spoonerism and that would be cute, but instead I'm slaughtering people's names. So if you've got an altcoin you want us to research to save me from myself, the best place to leave it is the Rise Up Discord server at the link on the screen, or leave us a comment. And we do have a list of stuff. I would love to just get everybody's, take on these companies. Are they solving a problem? Is it an effective solution? Some of the stuff we might be looking at for the very first time, but the first one comes from Magic in our Discord server. Thank you very much, Magic. He had a couple submissions for us. And the one I wanted to touch on first is he asked about Axelar. And I wondered if instead of like digging deep into it tonight, because we've done it before, I think on episode 3, the one I missed, damn it, it was really good. And since we're about to...
It was really good.
back.
And I'll just continuously remind you how good that episode was.
I know, I'm grumping myself. Do you guys want to talk a little? I've got the website pulled up. I've got a little CoinGecko, just give maybe just a quick preview, Will, of the conversation we had, and also like what we're looking forward to. And then I say we move past that. And Lindsay, if you have a thought on it, you are central.
About
we met
Axelar,
Axelar
right?
at the Stellar event at
Yeah, and they were dope. And
They were
I got to bro out hard because he was a skier, I'm a skier, and we just looked at each other and we're like, you, me,
Wow,
we're talking for a
you're
half hour.
saying 2 skiers were together in Denver, Colorado? I've never heard.
what?
It's
Imagine.
a really
What are the
weird
odds?
thing. It's
This
really
is a
weird,
gross
crazy.
misrepresentation of the facts.
Who'd have thunked it?
But
Anyway,
we met him and you hit it off.
yeah. We had a great time. We broed out. But yeah, even before then, I liked Axelar a lot from that amazing episode Alex, Michael, and myself had without Evan. And in it, if you want to know what Axelar is all about, super condensed. They build connections. And from a technical standpoint, they are an integrator. From a simple term standpoint, they build a bridge between one decentralized application to another in order to pipe in data. One real case that they do is Uniswap, the largest decentralized exchange in the entire crypto space, uses Axelar to connect their data with Filecoin, Storage. I think it's Filecoin. Pretty sure it's Filecoin, right?
Yeah.
So it's enabling Uniswap to be able to properly store their data by enabling them to be able to connect and pipe that data to Filecoin. So that's it. They build that bridge. Okay, it's a key piece of infrastructure building in the space, and they do it for a lot of companies.
Yeah.
So that is genuinely useful and pretty cool. And did I mention that the guys at the team ski, and I think they're neat?
Yeah, exactly. Alex, who are we trying to wrangle? Because it's not Galen that Will met. Or Will, who is it? Because I am in 50 different Telegram chats and I don't want to say the wrong name.
Oh no, I'm totally about to say the wrong name.
Oh no,
That's Aptos.
is it Giorgio?
No, that's a different project, Evan.
Oh no,
Tartar sauce.
tartar sauce.
Fish.
This is worse than you misspelling my name, but I'm
No, it's
enjoying
worse.
watching you try.
Thank
Wait,
you.
wait. It was Georgios.
It was Giorgio's. Ha! I'm
Evan,
giving
you
myself
were
a
so
point
right.
back and
Look
an
at
extra
you. Get
point.
that point.
Thank you
Yeah,
very
look
much.
at that.
You're just trying to get my game off. I'm gonna win tonight. We're gonna have Giorgio's on the
Well,
show.
I mean,
We're just working on
it's
some
It's
scheduling.
rigged. It's a rigged
It's
game.
so rigged.
It's a rigged
And
game,
if
but I haven't
you
won yet.
and I just want to say, if you don't give some points to Lindsay and have her win, it's very ungentlemanly. Like
Right now, Lindsay is in the lead and she's earned it.
yeah,
even if I was
she
being a
certainly
jerk.
has.
I will
Liz-
say in Evan's defense that we accuse him of rigging this game and he loses every single week. So
He does. He loses
What the
every single week. He's never won once.
Honestly.
He's
not
never
very
won a single time. He's
Uh,
not really good at rigging it. He tries his best though.
Lindsay, I don't know if you have any just thoughts on Axelar to add context before we move on to another token, because we'll spend more time on it another night. But I'd love to hear what you think if you know about him.
I am good on Axelar. I mean, what is there to know? They have a good product and they're nice people. That's it.
Yeah.
the thing
Okay.
works. Go figure.
Yeah.
Okay, so the other projects we have, and I would love for you guys to give me a hand with this, because one or two of these I don't recognize. I'm going to read them out. I have Bio, which sounds like a medical, maybe a DeFi, ownership of proprietary information, probably for medical customers. Bio is the ticker, BIO. Lumia, LUMIA, and Parcel, PARCL, which we've talked about. it's been about a year. We talked about it in a newsletter. RWA plays, and then Drift. Alex, you had mentioned it before on one of our morning show episodes when Magic asked about Jido and Radium, and
Oh yeah.
is still interested in learning more. I think they may or may not be a Dex on Solana also just from that. But Cindy, Magic said, the CEO, seems to be very engaged and, hip and with it. So we can start in any of those places. I would need a second to maybe look it up, and I'm glad to.
I think we can first impression some of them. It's been a minute since we've done those, and I enjoy doing that, especially if there are any that we're collectively unfamiliar with, to do a little round robin on like the homepage and kind of first thoughts, because that's obviously, first impressions matter. I was going to add on Axelar just because I forgot to mention it, and I did look it up. They have revenue.
They have revenue. Woohoo!
That's a real company right there.
Wow.
I think I got rid of my Tada sound. That's so sad. But
No,
Tada.
it's like a non-insignificant amount of revenue. Support evaluation that the crypto company carries, probably not, but revenue is revenue, and I'll take it where I can get it in this industry, to be very honest with you.
Yeah, 100%. 189 million TVL in DeFi Llama is not too shabby. And, a market cap of under $500 million is plenty of room to grow when we've seen wild and crazy things in crypto.
Is that what it? Okay, that's better than I was expecting, because their annual revenue is estimated to be around $11 million in recent.
Okay.
So
Lindsay, let me ask you this, since you're our guest. Do you want to start with DeSci or do you want to start with RWA? And the secret is I'm going to maybe ask you, while we pull up some links to share, to give us an intro of like, what do those words even mean? And you can pick whichever one you like. Or
then I'll choose RWAs.
Okay, great. Then let's look up Lumia and Parcel. I've got Parcel's Twitter up, and Lindsay, you have the floor.
Okay, a quick primer on RWAs, or real world assets. Basically, it's the idea that you can tokenize just about anything to sell shares in it. And so traditionally, it's very difficult to sell a piece of an item, like for example, a building, or split an item's ownership among a group of people. What tokenization does is allow the ownership of whatever item or thing that is, whatever real world asset that is, to be split amongst a group of people, whoever decides to buy the token. So this is anything from real estate to art to, you name it, it can be tokenized. So some pretty cool applications. I was just talking to someone recently who is going through a divorce, and his idea, because he has to sell his condo in Miami, his idea was to sell 365 individual tokens so that people could essentially buy day-long shares of said condo in Miami, upcharge them a slight amount, and use that as the property management fee so that everyone could have a piece of this condo, and he could still fulfill the obligations of his divorce in selling it for a profit and revenue. So that is just one quick and silly example. There are loads of other ones that we can point to. One of the coolest fractionalized ownership examples I can think of is fractionalized art ownership. Art has traditionally been an asset that's completely unavailable to 99.999% of people. It is extremely prohibitively expensive to collect art, but you could theoretically own portions of really, really cool artworks and earn monetary value back as the value of that artwork increases, and be able to immediately sell those tokens if you needed to cash in on that monetary gain. So pretty cool world we have in RWAs.
I would say so. And one of those projects that people can explore, use right now, that'll help them to tokenize real estate is Parcel. Parcel makes it possible to speculate on real estate markets, tokenized markets. I do believe, quote me not on this,
Fact check yourself,
that
brother.
they sell tokens that are like a basket of properties. It's like an REIT almost, many different assets in one basket that you can speculate on with tokens in geographic markets like Atlanta or Nashville or London. And what it does is, like Lindsay said, it gives liquidity to real estate. Tokens, generally speaking, they give this nice tangible form to things like that, so you can easily trade them. The way it's very hard to trade a house. You want to flip a house, you got to hire a realtor, you got to wait, you got to put up a listing, but you can sell a token pretty easy on any market where there's a buyer. So Parcel is trying to, one, create the tokens, and two, create a marketplace where the buyers can, transact in these real world assets. Their price indexes represent median price per square foot in a city. That's what it is. And their website is Parcel, PARCL.co. Their Twitter is at Parcel. They got a lot of followers. They've been doing this for a couple of years, I know. And we're one of the first names that I personally, started to recognize as people began to talk about this RWA thing. So, guys, do you have additional thoughts or commentary or another resource we can take a look at?
Just to say that this is one of those things that we should have mentioned when talking about legislation or regulation that would actually be helpful, would be clarity around how it fits into existing regulatory structures governing things like property and real estate sales and investing and stuff like that when you add a token into the mix, especially considering the fact that many of those things are already licensed to be served as investment vehicles in some cases, or just straight property transfers. So adding some sort of clarity to that whole mix would be really cool. That's one of the things that I could definitely see getting in the way of too many things being tokenized until there's some sort of clarity around there, because I think people would just worry that it would just gum up the works and become a hindrance. And like someone was pointing out here, why would a seller want to do something like that versus just following like current sales structure for that particular item or piece of real estate, home, whatever, which I completely agree with. At this point, I think if you just rammed it in there, it would just be a friction point that would not really serve anybody without a more specific reason to like give a shit about it. So I could see it becoming like more worthwhile, or not worthwhile, but like more commonplace in like either nonprofit solutions or like low income real estate type stuff where, there are already rules in place to govern like how much markup can be done and how many people can take a slice of whatever pie that is. I think that could be another good place to start, like, introduce some sort of clarity, just because we don't have any of it right now. And I see that being a friction point for sure.
Well, I'd love to get your thought on it. And I really just want to say, can you be brief? Because our friend Nil has jumped up on TikTok and says he only has 10 minutes. And I want to know.
The only thing that I'll say is I pulled up Parcel on DeFi Llama. It has $11 million in TVL, which is very weak. And if I look up the price chart of it, I'm just talking about this as an investment. I'm not talking about this as a solution. Its chart doesn't look very good at all. Now, it did have a little bit of a run up. You can make trades on everything, but if I'm looking at this like really zoomed out on the chart, if you're trying to find something that has like long-term growth potential, Parcel's not in that category. You can obviously make money on anything in the crypto space in any market, right? And you'll have those opportunities here, but it doesn't look like an investment. Like if we're doing an altcoin review as an investment, it doesn't look like something I'd be holding long-term, particularly with its fundamental adoption not being very good.
I will say too, just for clarity, because it's topical, the TVL reporting on DeFi Llama is not always
not always accurate.
There is that disclaimer on the website, and I actually managed to get some clarity from the DeFi Llama team itself. And I spoke to Lindsay, I can't remember what Ada's last name is, the director of
Ada Vaughn.
Vaughn. Yeah, thank you.
Great name.
Ada Vaughn, she's the director of DeFi or department head
of DeFi partnerships.
Okay, thank you. At Stellar, and I had asked her specifically because if you look up Stellar's TVL on DeFi Llama, it not only is like really low, but the chart just wrong. And she confirmed that there are a number of things that like can't be queried the same way, and depending on like how the various APIs that need to be called to get full data are offered, DeFi Llama can't grab everything, and every project needs to like opt into the sharing of TVL data with DeFi Llama, and then they confirm too that they only have certain methodologies that they can use to call that data, and if not everyone plays ball with them, they simply just can't report it, and they don't speculate, so they just eliminate it and put a disclaimer up. So just keep that in mind when you see these things, especially I would say with the RWA related plays.
I have, now you mentioned, I have opened a lot of RWA plays, seem to have a very low amount of TVL and DeFi Llama. So there's probably something like that going on.
I will say too, for example, Stellar has native asset issuance and has a $400 million fund listed on Franklin Templeton, $100 million fund listed on Wisdom Tree. Neither of those are reflected in TVL numbers, just because they're not necessarily DeFi contracts. I have a really big issue with TVL, the metric that we use. Yeah. But I will say it's a young industry, and there's not been a movement to establish a better metric. TVL is a decent, I would say a B-, a quick heuristic for understanding where a project is, but it is not the end all be all whatsoever.
No,
On that note, I want to really, can I segue away because Nil has a hard stop and I wanted him up to talk about something. He is here, our friend Nil at Big Nil Collect on TikTok. Nil, my friend, thank you for jumping up. I was not hip to the comments, so I don't know what you were talking with Alex on the side about, but loop me in.
If he needs a second, I can fill you in. Basically, he was just mentioning that they are they've done some work with Lumia over at
being Polygon.
They being Polygon, yeah. So he was gonna. I told him if he wanted to hop up and give us the TLDR on exactly on a little bit more like nuance there, what they're just because I'm not familiar with that project. But he is currently mid-rug, and no, I'm running out of ways that I can organically stall.
Hello, my honey. Hello, my darling. Hello, my.
That's okay, Nil. If you can hear us, we love you, man. We're grateful for you. I'm gonna ding you for trying, and we can certainly transition to Lumia if you're ready to put Parcel to bed. But don't let me stop you. It's a fluid conversation, and RWA.
Wait,
go ahead.
I have one quick Parcel question.
Yes.
Just what kinds of properties are actually in their portfolio? Like it's these baskets, but like what are the baskets of? Does it say?
Let's find out. And if you wanted to play along at home, what you would do is you'd go to the Parcel website, which is parcel.co, which I said before. And at the top, they have a tab that says docs. That's where I went right here. So I'm going to go to protocol overview. That seems like what they would do. Maybe risk man. Well, that's not very clear. Alex, maybe you can look this up on GPT while I'm doing this simultaneously. Links, archive, protocol, I don't know, address.
And
okay, good deal.
I do have to say what's up to our friend Icy, who just also popped in.
What's going on, Icy? Let me ding for Icy too. So what I can see right here is they've got these smart contracts that represent cities, and I'm not entirely sure what's inside those contracts. And I feel like that would be something you'd want to have in your doc section.
Give me one of those. Give me one of those contract addresses.
Oh, gee, you're gonna make me do this? Here you go. Hang on.
Pick
How
one,
about New York? New York. Here you go. Hang on. It's coming to you in the private chat. Somebody play some elevator music. There you go. And it is. Oh, where'd I go?
Well, do you want to get Nil back in before he has to leave?
Yeah, Nil. Come on, man. What you doing?
Yeah,
we'll look this up and answer Lindsay's question while Nil gives us his take on Lumia. Ladies and gentlemen, Big Nil Collect. It's Nil. Welcome to the show. What's going on and what you thinking?
Oh, we still can't hear him.
Evan.
Oh, what the heck? I heard that.
I got you, Nil.
Sorry. Did you hear me on that side?
Yeah, now we got
you. I could just see you.
Okay, God bless. Well, nice to see everybody tonight. I'm in like the worst setup of my life here. I got the baby monitor on. My wife's in freaking master's classes right now, so we're just I got the drink crack though, so that's all that matters, right? Like we're hanging out, doing our thing.
I figured you were being a parent, but you have the like dark alley running from the cops vibe going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's what I mean, hiding from my responsibilities. I mean, the kid's down right now, so it is what it is at this point. No, but just wanted to comment on Lumia. It's a team that we work with very directly at Polygon. So they're utilizing CDK, our tech stack, to essentially build out their own chain. It's live. It's already active. It's very, they're one of the most active teams that we have out here as far as like transactions go, right? So it's connecting to the ag layer. It has that RWA sector really like locked in for us in a lot of ways. And they do things specifically in luxury items, but also in tokenization of real estate very heavily. So currently their current project, which is being built in Istanbul, Turkey, is a $2 billion skyscraper complex, which they will be building, tokenizing, and fractionalizing for ownership as well. So
that's sick.
That's super cool.
It's pretty sick. Like when they announced that, like they like sneaky like said that like, hey, this is coming. Then when the announcement went live, I mean, people went crazy, right? And while I will say all RWA assets, all like layer 2 tokens for that matter, are beat to shit right now. That is a part of it. But they're super bullish. Like the team is very diverse. They've come from across the world. And they have a ton of influence in like the EMEA, APAC area in that direction. So I'm super excited for their future, and they're a super strong team that we lean on that direction.
Did you see that they also have a native stablecoin?
Yep. Exactly. So the first RWA-based stablecoin as well. Like, I mean, it goes on and on with the weapons they have in their arsenal. So we're just excited to have them on board. And like I said, like the most active ag chain that we have right now, which just is like super bullish from to see them adopting the technology and working with collaborators that much more effectively. So I'm extremely excited that they're with us.
Go ahead, Will.
I was just gonna say I want to go buy a part of this $2 billion skyscraper.
Yeah, I know.
I just want it.
Telling them, like, yeah, like go just have a piece of it, just to say I do,
Yeah,
right?
I just
like,
want a brick.
Yeah.
I just want to be able to walk up and just like chisel my name into one brick.
I was gonna say like the Watson Istanbul piece, right?
Yeah,
Like,
Schmillion
exactly.
Schmotzen needs a piece.
Yeah, Schmillion Schmotzen needs a piece of that multi-billion-dollar skyscraper.
Yeah, it's crazy. So obviously super excited for their team, and it's just like looking towards the future of where things are. And I think overall they've got some great growth techniques they're working with right now, and it's going to include a lot of TikTok stuff. So I'm excited to bring them over here and hang out and do some cool, unique things with them as well.
Oh my gosh, yeah, we want to be in that conversation. That sounds great. We're getting Will a brick.
Y'all already are, you know that.
I'm getting that brick, baby. Woo.
Yeah, let's get some free bricks for the shows. That's the main thing.
Some free bricks.
It's real.
I love
I
that.
want to send someone a brick in the mail and have it mean something.
It's like, you remember that viral video where like the little kid opened up a gift on Christmas and it was a potato and he was so excited about it? Like that'd be me getting my brick. That's exactly
It's an
what I
avocado.
wanted.
Oh my gosh,
No,
that's
no.
embarrassing.
There's also a potato video.
Yeah, there is, but no one knows that one, Will. I know both.
Well, I know that one. I'm sorry. I'm
No.
sorry. I spent half my childhood
Thanks.
on a farm in Maine picking potato bugs off of plants for half the summer. All right. I related to the potato video.
I'm pretty sure Alex played with potatoes when he was a kid too. That might be
Hey.
a story for another time.
That is true, and there's photographic proof of it in all of my childhood photo albums. I'm carrying a potato because my dad was like, he's just going to chew and slobber on and break toys when he's that little anyway, so just hand him a potato. And then when I chewed on it to the point that it got too gross, they took it away and gave me a fresh potato. But there are multiple pictures of me in, like, when I was tiny and wearing diapers, just clutching a single potato.
I'm
That's
actually like
awesome.
not surprised at
You
all.
guys were
That's
early
No,
enough.
that
Maybe
that
weaning.
I don't know why that matches and fits so
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
But it just does.
the checks, right? I was
If
gonna
my
say,
mom
speaking
knew
on
I had
weird
to
things. Speaking on weird things in the mail, from Denver, I just got one of the doors from the lockers from the Polygon booth,
Oh,
and my
yeah,
wife,
yeah.
and my wife, and one of them actually says, I think it says Alex was here or Alex is cool or something like that. I don't know if it's the Alex. I'm telling myself it is. So it has Lumia on it, it has Rudo, Gian on it, Alex, and it has your name. And I'm like, that one's mine. Thank you very much. But when it got in the mail, my wife is like, what is your company sending you? I was like, don't worry about it. Don't stress. And I open up. She's like, a locker? Like, what's going on here? I was like, don't worry about it. It's the background on my screen. It's all good. So it'll be funny.
Fantastic. I got the screen share up so people can see it, but we're gonna need to see that locker in your background, dude.
Just believe that. It'll get there. That's hilarious. That's
I will
good.
just say, Nil, just
Oh,
for
Evan.
the
I was just.
when people
Sorry.
give me the option to sign something, sign it. That's all I'm going to say. So
Exactly. Collect it, sign it, take care of business. All right, I'm gonna log off before my baby wakes up, and I appreciate you all for letting me get 5 minutes of fame here. I
Hey,
appreciate you all.
Absolutely. A
You
big
do.
ding for you. Big Nil Collect. Give him a follow and check out his streams. 2 p.m. weekdays.
Yep, that's the vibe.
Excellent. See you soon, brother.
See you soon all.
You,
Peace.
you know, before we transition, I do love the idea that like the first burning ember of anger that Alex had in the world was him never being given a real toy. Just
I
being
will
given
absolutely die on
potato after potato.
listen,
And that just stoked into just the
I will
salty
I
sailor
will
man.
find the picture for you, and the next time,
And turn it into Studio Ghibli.
well, tomorrow morning on the show when my mom is here, you can ask her for confirmation. I was also crate trained as a young child. My father, for a while, worked. He worked at home.
Explains the
were
dogs.
both teachers. And so sometimes, you know, when I was a little bit older, I would go to class with them and sit in the back. And I have a very vivid memory of reading a Far Side Gallery comic book in the back of one of my dad's lectures and just like laughing way too loudly for the middle of class at a Far Side Gallery comic. Shout out Gary Larson. But no, I also, in my dad's home office, I had a very fancy, but it was a crate for sure. It had a lid. And
Not
and I
a
would just,
lid.
I was just filling that thing with, yeah, dude, it was made out of wood. It was very comfy. I had a bed in there.
Happy
I
as a clam.
had my potato in there, and I was crate trained for sure.
He had a crate, not a crib. He had a
People-
potato, not a Mr. Potato Head.
Not a
People
Mr.
who
Potato
don't know
Head.
me hear stories like this, and they think I'm full of shit. And they meet my dad, and they're like, "No, we believe everything you've ever said."
Oh my gosh, that's fantastic. Okay, I want to know really quickly about the tokenization process for Parcel, how it works, and then we've got another celebrity guest that I will introduce and bring it to the studio.
Hell yeah.
So many.
Sweet.
So what did we get, Alex?
Did you just like throw it to me with after?
Yeah, because I said, can you GPT this for me? Okay, listen. I
You
wondered
asked
if
for the
you would
smart
do this.
contract address. What did you dig up?
Right.
Share your
Listen,
findings.
I'm guamping you for that. You check the contract address, and I will tell you, Lindsay, I GPT'd this, and
you.
I asked it, what kinds of properties and how do they tokenize their properties? Because those are the questions I want to know. It says they tokenize pretty much any asset. Single family homes, condos, apartments, like residential, commercial, luxury and specialty, fractional properties, including REITs. And essentially the property is like held in an LLC, a trust, some kind of special purpose vehicle. They create tokens. It doesn't say what chains they use, though I think they might even be multi-chain. And then the total supply of the token, it's like, you know, total value of the property divided by supply of the tokens to get price per token. And I do believe, it doesn't say this here, but I do believe for their individual markets, they take the median price, you know, the Georgia token, the Atlanta token, the New York token, they take the median price per square foot. And that's how they aggregate it. And that reflects the price of the token, so that it's more like, you know, direct to speculate on the future of Atlanta real estate versus the future of Nashville real estate. I think that's what they're doing for speculators. I don't know if there's fees. I'd need to dig further. And honestly, I would need to, you know, fact check GPT.
Fact check yourself, brother.
So hopefully that helps a little, though.
Wouldn't it be easier just to tokenize a REIT?
I kind of think
Yeah.
so, but I
Yeah.
feel like they couldn't get the clearing. You know what I mean? That probably would take a little extra regulatory clarity, I'm thinking.
That's one of those things that I think there's a tremendous amount of friction around, because that would be the most sensible application, but you know, one of the many pieces of red tape that needs to be cut, in my humble opinion.
Excellent.
Dude,
Okay.
This is very interesting. I'm trying to figure out where this contract is leading me, because it immediately pulls up a query that I can run on SoulScan, but it doesn't lead anywhere. It just identifies it as a parcel contract. So I'm wondering if these things are, I don't know. I haven't figured out exactly what I'm looking at yet. I'm not smart enough for this.
Zach XBT. We need you.
Zach, help me.
Okay, let me save you from yourself and tell you that as
Please.
everybody, are you rugging? Am I rugging?
No, I said, please save me from myself.
Please save me from myself. Okay, I'm going to give myself a ding for that and introduce our guest. This is a good time to reset the room. Everybody knows that just a week or two ago, I was in the throes of Crypto the Game. It was a Forged in Fire style experience, the second time I've played. And if you don't know, it's a survivor style game, but add a little Squid Games in and add a little crypto. And in the end of this massive 10-day competition, a player field of 800 is whittled down to one, and that person took home 140 ETH. It was Ted Not Lasso over on Farcaster and Twitter. And amidst the fire, amidst the flames, I got the chance to play with somebody I met last season who's just a great teammate. He is a DeFi builder. He is a spreadsheet master. And if I had to pick a whip to organize a group of people for a vote, I couldn't think of anybody better. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage my friend, Mr. Brian Smokovic. Dude, how's it going?
What's going on, guys? Thank you so much for having me, Evan.
Hey, man, I'm so glad to have you. I had said to the Silly Friends Alliance that we wanted to have like a get-together review show, and Brian said, listen, man, I can make it. He was the only one who was able to make it tonight, and I was like, hell yeah, come on.
Yeah, I wasn't going to leave you hanging.
Dude, I appreciate it. I would really like to maybe just get your colorful take on the Crypto the Game experience. Maybe you had some really good feedback, helping our audience who's at all levels of experience understand like what this means for, you know, our moment in the future of crypto. But then I want to talk about what you're doing, because you're raising money, making plans, building something cool. And everybody here will have questions about it. So you want to tell us what was it like playing Crypto the Game?
Hell yeah, man. Luckily this season was, I think, a bit more calm than last season. Last season, like getting into it, like you really get into the adrenaline, right? Especially with like some of the things that we went through in terms of just like whether it's the backstabbing or coordinating 20 people at one time. And because I held the same strategy going into this season from last season because I didn't want to let go of it. And I'm very thankful that you were in my tribe this season, because my strategy was very much just like build friendships, build a coalition, build people who we can trust, because going into like the mid to late stages of the game, you need an army of people with you in order to kind of get there, right? If you don't have voting power, you can't play defense, right? And a lot of like the early game is not about like knocking off other people who you think that are gonna be threats in the game, but more so defending yourself and surviving, right? It's the on-chain survivor, but the core, if you just always come back to the idea of survive, like that's what we would tell when we got shifted between tribes and certain people got knocked out. It was always, all right, we'll see you on the other side, survive, right? That is the number one goal. And so it was awesome to create the Silly Friends Alliance that we did do. And we built like a small coalition of 20, 21, 22, 23 people.
Which is hard in a game like this. That's a pretty big alliance.
It's also a great name.
Thank you. And our dolphin mascot was, the best in the game for sure. You haven't met the soundboard yet, but we have a whole soundboard here. I suppose this is a good time to tell you before you continue that if you hear this sound, don't be dismayed. It means you got a point. If you hear this sound, be a little dismayed. It means you got a point taken away because you said something bad. But you're good. You got a point so far for being a great teammate. Continue. It's important to have friends, important to have an alliance, and it's impressive that we had like kind of a loose, kumbaya teamworky, happy to be here, easy to work with group of people in this survival game.
People love to talk crap about the kumbaya strategy as well, like early on, like, you guys are being too nice of a strategy and things are going to go to hell later once I'm trying to watch my words. I sometimes
you can say it's after
fine.
dark.
Awesome. And sometimes things just go to shit, right? When like everything breaks down and alliances break down. But we managed to hold strong. Like there was one night where we had to vote out 15 people, right? In like a smaller group. It was the first night where there was a lot of people. And I remember in the beginning, Evan and one of our other teammates called a vote immediately, right? And someone started to panic. I'm like, no, don't, just calm down. We got this, right? Like we're gonna organize this. I'm looking at like the spreadsheet and this. It's okay. We just need to like come up with the list of names that we're gonna do. We take our alliance. We have like 22 votes, and we take those votes and we attach 2 to each one. We vote late in the game. That way, we make sure the other random votes that other people put people into the list, and we protect everyone, right? And we ended up protecting, I think, 5 of our people. Every single person in our alliance made it through that night. Because of that, we saved Evan, we saved Crystal, we saved 3 other people. And so it's just like by staying calm, coordinating, and like focused, we were able to just really stick it out. And we ended up sending 5 people to the finals, like in like day 10, which I thought was like quite impressive. We didn't win.
Really cool.
I have to ask.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, Lindsay. I was just gonna ask, Evan. I know last year when you got eliminated, you made kind of a big deal about considering whether or not you wanted to try to buy your way back in, and then you ended up doing that, and you came in with like a different approach. Is that still like a thing that was on the table this year? Because I didn't hear any conversation about like buying it. Did you just opt like?
So this year the mechanic changed a little bit. You could buy active
Survivor
tokens.
Island.
On Resurrection Island. That was the theme this season, Resurrection Island. So the first thing is, if you got eliminated, you were not technically out. The very next day, you'd get to compete in the same challenge everybody else did. But instead of competing with your tribe mates, you were competing alone to stay in the game and win immunity. So it was a strategy to, come back in, get safe for the night. But if that didn't work out, you could buy a token on the secondary market that was still active. And it had to be an active player token, because the new mechanic this season was that upon elimination, your token would be bound to your account. We call it soulbound for people who don't know. You cannot send that NFT from your wallet at that point, and it becomes your vote as a member of the jury to pick the winner.
Gotcha.
So the strategy is don't die. Or get ready to buy a token.
Johnson.
Yeah, don't die. Yeah, hashtag Brian Johnson. Looking at you. Somebody made a great tweet. Kate, one of our Aqua Tribe teammates, was like, saw a Brian Johnson retweet that said "Don't die," and she captured it. She's like, Brian Johnson playing crypto the game. Go ahead.
Every time you'd say Resurrection Island, I'm gonna out myself here with this. Every time you say Resurrection Island, I immediately think of the reality show F-Boy Island and how they sent all of the
Oh,
eliminated guys to that just like sand pit.
That workout camp.
And they just like lounged around all day and whined about how they weren't there, and then they like randomly picked one to come back. Nikki Glazer hosted. She's hilarious. And
She's so funny.
She is.
that was such a quality piece of reality television. It's not even funny.
Lindsay, where were you going to go with that? You had a reaction too.
Oh, no, I was just going to ask which nights both of you got eliminated and which days you feel like was your best performance.
Brian didn't get eliminated. Okay, this
Hell
brother
yeah,
went
Brian.
all the way to the
No.
finals.
That's no, I did not, man. I
Wait. Oh,
no.
I
If
thought
I
you
would,
had a.
if I went to the finals, I feel like I would have had a pretty decent. I always feel like I have a pretty decent shot at winning because I can I know I play well in the mid game and can kind of rally enough troops. I made it to day 8 again. Both seasons I got eliminated day 8. This season, someone gave me their NFT.
That's
And
right.
there are
play
10
into
days or
day
11
9.
days.
There's 10 days.
Okay.
But the thing is, the person who gave me their NFT had a target on her back, already. People, I don't know whose dog she kicked, but people just really didn't like her, and so because she was. I mean, we liked her. Crystal was awesome, right? But for some,
Alex, it was Crystal. I don't know if
Yeah.
Lindsay and Will, you guys know Crystal, but
Adair's-
Alex and I go way back.
Adair's Crystal?
Adair's Crystal. Yeah.
Yeah, I know her.
People were hunting her, man. I don't understand why. And so she gave me the NFT, and I caught 3 votes that day just because I tried to put it under another anon Twitter that wasn't me, so people didn't know it was me. But it's still, I think people knew who to snipe, and it wasn't an accidental offshoot of one. No, she caught 3. And so and so it was. I didn't make it to day 10.
We got to talk to Crystal and figure out what you did.
Yeah,
Seriously,
please.
I might have just said I don't do content. Yeah. And Lindsay, I got to day 8 when I was sent to Resurrection Island day 8, and I caught 3 votes, and I was very honored to be at the top of the people who got voted off leaderboard. It makes you feel like, oh, people think I'm a strong player, I'm a threat, or whatever. At least that's the story I tell myself. And then I did not win immunity on Resurrection Island, but because of Brian, because of the silly friends, I was able to compete, have a lot of fun, be part of the game even through the end by figuring out who's got the best story. We wanted a silly friend to win. How can we support them, rally votes? And I'm ready to do it again after a long nap, and you guys all got to play with me. Brian, you'd said you might not play again for the next season, but we're gonna try.
We'll
and get you back.
It's this year was the 10 days were the last week and a half of my accelerator course. And so I was between playing games and polishing my pitch deck and practicing my pitch. And it was day 10 would have been the day before the pitch, which was to some tier 1, 2 VCs. And I'm it was a relief to be eliminated because I'm okay, now I can just focus on my pitch and practice. Right. And so I think it depends on when it happens next year. And I just keep getting progressively busier. And so we'll see. Maybe that's for the best, right? I join and play a low profile game or something.
Yeah, you can get far that way. So that seems like a really good place to pivot, if it's okay, just to talk about what it is, in fact, that you're building and what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'd love to talk a bit about it just because I only have about 10 more minutes anyway before I got to hop.
That's perfect.
And so, oh, look at this. We got a little screen
Wait,
share.
that banner is fantastic.
Thank you.
Somebody hit me with the screen share on TikTok so I can show the people.
I
what we're
got you.
looking
I
at
got you.
here.
The people need to know
Yeah.
that you
so
must
we're
protect your nut.
Pistachio, and I'm here to protect your nut.
And that's it.
Thank
That's
you.
it.
Good
Those
night.
are your 10 minutes.
So we are we're the safest and easiest way to grow your wealth. And basically the problem that we're solving is that everyone wants to onboard the next 1 billion users, right? We're going to onboard the next billion retail users. So I hate that saying. And so, but the next billion retail users have no idea what the hell we're doing in DeFi land, right? They don't understand this shit. And so how am I supposed to get my girlfriend, my dad, my brother? My brother's not crypto native, but been in Ethereum for just as long as me, 6 to 8 years, and doesn't know how to scour the DeFi land of all the thousands of different yield generation opportunities. And so what we did is we just took all of the Ethereum UX pain points that people have been bitching about for the last 10 years and solved every single one, right? And so it's like you don't need seed phrases. It's very easy recovery, and it's all non-custodial. So within the ethos of Web3, you can with deposit to our, so we curate yield generation opportunities, right? We curate yield vaults, and you can deposit any token from any chain to any of our vaults without gas, right? We abstract away the gas. You can deposit ETH on base to a USDC and Arbitrum vault all in one transaction without token approvals, right? It's just all via a Face ID and all via one button. So instead of like needing to like, okay, now I need to take this and then swap it and then figure out like what currency I'm going to put in and what is the risk reward and all of this. No, we simplify everything and just make it super digestible for anyone to comprehend and use it, right? And so it's like, I think one of the hardest things that we've seen is this idea of how can we create a Web 2 custodial experience, but with the actual Web3 non-custodial ethos on the back end. And that's what Pistachio is.
Whew. Giving you a point.
Yeah, so we've been building it now for almost 2 years. It's just me.
You were working on it last time still when we were playing cricket
Yeah.
again. I was like, damn, this guy's building.
It's taken a, like Web3 mobile is difficult. You know, there's a lot of changing standards that are happening in that space, and getting everything to actually work together and integrate well has been a challenge, especially because there's been certain providers that aren't up to snuff and we need to gut them out and replace them. And so we are where we are now. We're actually going through the iOS App Store process right now. Blue Sky's ahead with it too. It's basically, we just have to upgrade or migrate our account to like an enterprise grade Apple account and then redeploy the app. And like, as far as legal issues go, it's actually it's much easier to get apps through the App Store now because so many have been pushed through. And we have like the proper compliance documents to make sure that we've like clarified all our relationships, because we're non-custodial. We don't collect any private data. We don't do any KYC. Our on-rampers and partners handle all the KYC, and they have the compliance documentation to make it super easy. And so we're literally at that finish line. And so now that we're moving into this, we're starting to raise our pre-seed. I've been just starting this week to actually hit the ground running and talk to VCs, and we bootstrapped most of our way here. We raised a small angel round, and the rest has just been bootstrapping our way to product ready, be post MVP, done a ton of user interviews, and just ready to hit the market and kind of ask to get users.
Well, hey man, good luck. I'd love to know if the folks have a reaction or a question, and then I'd like to have you give us the best way to get in touch. And if there's anything we can do to support you at this stage, let us know that too. So what do you guys think? You got a question for Brian, or a thought, a good joke, or word of wisdom?
I was going to say, take it away, Will.
Well, I was going to say, like, as a consumer, coming to use your product for the first time, what would be your recommendation to somebody in order to kind of get the best feel for someone who is both brand new to DeFi and someone who may have experience, going and using various DeFi applications for 2-3 years or so?
Mm-hmm. So basically, I feel like what that question boils down to is what type of yield opportunities are we curating in our app, right? And that's basically, what are the safest yield generation opportunities, which generally just tends to be decentralized lending, right? Or optimized decentralized lending. Hardened platforms, Aave, Compound, Morpho, things of that nature. And so what we've done is we've basically implemented compound vaults directly into the app, right? And so what we do to make it really easy is, hey, you can deposit and withdraw. Here, like your previous transactions, right? And we give a small risk profile. This is the APY, and these are the type of risks associated with this app. Like, where does the yield come from? what is the risk regarding the strategy, and what is the risk regarding the asset, like the collateralized asset that you're putting into. And we explain it all very succinctly, right? We could do brief overviews of what is USDC, what is decentralized lending, why it's generally the safest type of yield in crypto. No leverage, no looping opportunities. We will eventually have things like that, but just again marking them as like medium to high risk opportunities, and the associated yield that comes along with it, which you can get 10 to 20+%, but just advising very clearly the risk reward ratio, right? Because if I want to invest in something as an investor, I used to be a financial advisor back in my first life into working, right? And it's the first thoughts are, okay, so like, what is the yield? What am I going to return on, right? That's always question number one, because if it's not good enough, it's not worth it. And then two, what is the risk associated with that yield, right? So like 3%, you're like, you treat it, it's like, maybe that's not enough to get me in the door, but probably it's going to be nice low risk, which is okay, fine. Versus, if it's 11 to 13%, it tends to be a sweet spot, but your alarm bells are ringing a little bit. Like, okay, what is the risk associated with this type of strategy? And so, yeah. So sorry, I feel like I ranted a little extra on the question, but
no, all good, dude. Appreciate it.
The first thing that popped in my head is obviously like Acorns, the investing app, and how I've always wondered, because Acorns, I believe, lets you allocate some of your portfolio to a Bitcoin spot ETF, but I believe you're hard limited on how much of your overall portfolio you're allowed to allocate to that, and it's a very small allowance. I don't remember what it is off the top of my head, but
It's
I want to
1%.
say
I want to ding them for that, ding them down.
Yeah, gwump them. I agree.
Gwump Acorns, but I always just
Nice.
Acorns for crypto would be the coolest thing ever, where you could like just connect a debit card and round up spare change and dump it into Bitcoin every time you bought anything. That would be
really cool
to do a tiny little toe dip, and that's like the first thing I thought. I mean, not only
how does that not exist already?
dude,
There is a crypto solution like that, and I've tried to onboard to it. Its name is escaping me, and I don't know that I've passed the KYC yet. I think is what I'm waiting
that's
for.
bad brand awareness, man. If you can't remember the name,
No.
Yeah.
They're not protecting my nut.
not protecting.
Yeah,
Not
exactly.
protecting your nut.
But so instead of actually connecting a debit card, we're going to provide you with one. We're going to have like an on-chain collateralized credit card is how it works, right? You put in the collateral so to the user it's a debit card, but externally you can rent a car, whatever it is, because it's a credit card. And so it's basically like, easy money in, easy ramp in, grow your wealth from the inside, easy money out by spending it. And so it does become like a full alternative, like crypto neobank option.
Is there a reason that you wouldn't do and I'm genuinely curious because I have no clue what's involved in all this, but like to do like the straight debit card link to like my checking account, is that just like a nightmare to navigate, or why wouldn't you do that?
Yeah, what do you mean? Like using your own debit card, or?
Yeah, like if I have a Visa branded debit card from my USAA checking account that I could connect to Acorns, why wouldn't you have that as a feature on Pistachio?
It would be, to my just understanding of it, if you wanted to do that and have it automatically buy crypto, the one of the biggest challenges is always the fiat to crypto rails, right? And so that requires some degree of KYC depending on how much you're buying. It also usually takes a fee in 3 to 4%. And so if you're rounding like cents in small amounts, it's probably like a lot of these providers are going to have minimums. It's probably not going to be worth it to do that. Even like, man, it's really hard. Like on-ramping is still very expensive. Even getting it down to certain providers like Beam, who charge you 0.5% a month, 0.5% of ramping. They charge a SaaS model on the back end to the provider of like at minimum $1,000 a month. And so it's like, it's still like ramping in crypto is one of the more expensive hardships that we're trying to overcome. And it's just not. It'll get there, but it's not.
And when you say, I want to pause real quick. When you say ramping, to people who don't know what that necessarily means, can you just explain that?
Just buying crypto with dollars or fiat or pesos or whatever your local currency is.
Yep, the fiat to currency, altcoin conversion.
Fiat to crypto and crypto back to fiat, on and off ramp.
Yep.
Lindsay, I saw you nod your head. I know you're familiar with the problem.
Yes.
Did you have a thought?
Well, and just in any situation going from fiat to crypto is difficult, but particularly with cards, I'm sure all of you have used things like MoonPay or Cato is another one or whatever, and you'll notice that the failure rates of those are incredibly high. Like MoonPay itself is actually not at all a bad product. It's nothing wrong with their tech. It's none of that. It's on the other side when you input your card, your bank preventing that transaction from actually happening. So again, regulatory clarity would help. But you still can't force banks to allow those transactions to go through. And so even though it is your money being held in that bank account, it can still be very difficult to actually have that be put into any type of crypto platform. So
Gwump for banks.
Yeah,
Banks for sure.
we could do that every episode.
I can't tell you. That should be an automatic Gwump. Like, just start the show and Gwump the banks immediately. But
Gwump the banks.
dude, I can't tell you how long. I think I even tweeted about it because it just blew my mind. And USAA, once again, it's the only way you can get a hold of their customer service is to tweet about them and complain, because they were like, well, I was using MoonPay, shout out, use it all the time, big fan, and I was just trying to buy a USDC, and it was the same kind of thing. USAA was like, and I was like, no, it's me, you can let it. They're like, are you sure it's you? And I was like, yes, bitch, it's me, it's still me. And then they called me and I was like, yeah, approve it. And they're like, I don't know, we already canceled it, so why are you calling me? And then just back and forth and back and forth. I had to attempt it like 5 times, and finally I just gave up because I was like, nope, okay, not going to work. And just tried it again the next day, and same kind of thing, and finally got it through after another. But it took 6 attempts to get the purchase to allow. And they sent me an approval request all 6 times. And I immediately, like within seconds, said, yes, it's me, confirm, send it, give me my money. And 5 out of 6 times, they're like, oh, I don't think so. Sorry.
Wow.
That's 5 Gwumps for USAA by itself.
Yeah, dang. Sorry, USAA.
Bearish.
Brian, I know we're coming up on your time, so I want to be respectful to you and give you the opportunity to give a last thought, a question, suggestion, good joke, or word of wisdom for our audience, and then let them know where they can find you.
Awesome. I mean, besides protecting your nuts, obviously, you know, if you're sick and tired, if you're like me and you've lost money trading meme coins, and you lost money on leverage, and you lost money trading, or you lost money in a centralized actor, you know, take the steps to properly secure your wealth in a non-custodial platform and grow it the safe way, right? If you're just sick and tired of losing, it's time to win the slow way, but slow and steady wins the race, right? If you want to get in touch with me, you can find me either on Twitter, bsmokes, you know, bsmokes.eth. It's bsmokes_ technically, because the damn broken smokes have my name from 10 years ago, and they broke it. There's a band that broke up, and they're, or get in touch with me on Telegram, which is Brian Smokes, Brian. My last name is pronounced Smokovic, hence the B Smokes name. So either one of there. And if anyone has any connections to anybody that's deploying capital right now, whether it be angel investors or VCs, please make me an introduction. We're doing good stuff in the consumer crypto space, and the app is built, and we've got a hell of an app that we built. I'll say that. I'm excited to get it live.
Yeah.
So,
Awesome.
thank you.
I'm on the wait list.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah. Have a good night, Brian, and come back on the
Brian.
show sometime soon.
Yeah.
We'll talk more.
Absolutely. You guys are awesome.
Bye, brother.
Thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, monsters and machines, we are almost at that time where we're going to announce the winners of this game. We're going to give our final thoughts, but first we got 2 more projects to give a quick look through. And I'd love to know, Alex, if you've got Drift pulled up this time, or if you're going to rug me again.
What's Drift?
Wait, I can give a quick overview on Bio Protocol if we're still doing that one.
Let's do Bio Protocol first. I'm glad to do it. Rug Alex
All right,
anytime.
yeah, so
Rug
I
me.
did this a while ago. So this is a DeFi solution. The first little blurb on it is that it is a curation and liquidity protocol for DeFi. What that actually means is you can basically provide decentralized funding for tokenized biotech projects and IP. Now, the team behind this is interesting because they all come from previous DeFi projects. They helped to create Molecule, which was an early stage biomedicine tokenization platform. And they also had some people from the team that made Vita DAO, which was
Is
the
Molecule
largest.
still a thing? Will, I remember hearing about that one.
I
but
have
don't-
no idea if it's still a thing, but it looks like a lot of their team's here now. along with Vita DAO, which was the largest decentralized community for longevity science. And so that's kind of the quick little blurb and intro on it. Outside of that, we'll need a few more things pulled up.
I have to say, I'm not a big fan of decentralized
But I'm just
science.
not a big fan of decentralized science.
Yep.
I'm just
That's how I
not a
feel.
big fan of decentralized science.
You know, guys, I'm just not a big fan of decentralized science. I don't know.
Not a big
Sorry,
fan.
going here.
I'm just not a
Lindsay,
big fan.
save me.
You know, Lindsay, I've always sometimes thought, but never put the words out loud that I just, with decentralized science,
Not a fan.
I'm just
No, what?
Lindsay's
So-
trying to
so,
say
like,
she's not a
here's-
big fan of
Say it
decentralized.
again.
you're not a big fan of decentralized science.
No. So you
So
can.
what this
It's
is,
decentralized investment in decentralized science.
this is a way to provide easier funding for decentralized, or not just for like bio research.
Yeah,
Can
so
we-
they made a Kickstarter for bio research.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but with
exactly.
tokens. That's exactly it. That's the simplest way to say it. They have a whole pitch deck for it and a whole website for it. They raised millions of dollars.
It's a meme coin. I mean,
It's
it's,
a meme
like
coin.
so meme coin. Well, it's not. I mean, but meme coins fundamentally are a way to fundraise, and
Yeah, totally.
that's what they're doing.
But here's the
Doing it.
problem that I have with it and decentralized science generally is if you're Pfizer, if you're whoever, you know, and you're going to Moderna, you're going to bring the COVID vaccine to market. You're going to talk to your friends and say, hey, can you give me $5 billion? Great. Can you give me $20 billion? I'm going to put up $100 billion of my own money and we can turn this thing around in about 6 months. I've got the labs already. Everything's there. We're compliant. We've got regulatory help. I'll call such and such congressperson. See you tomorrow. And meanwhile, here are some people saying, wouldn't you like to own the cures of the future? If you buy this billion market cap meme token, we can send it to the moon and we will vote collectively on what cures we should fund. Great idea. Love the idea of decentralizing it or decentralizing the data or the records. But I think it is a bad application of that particular type of crowdfunding in the context of like Pfizer on the other
Dang.
side owns the thing, you know, so
Give yourself a ding.
thank you.
No, listen, this is one of those things where the idea is not a bad one. Okay. The idea of like decentralizing the funding process for scientific research is inherently not a bad idea. It is actually quite a good idea. Here's the problem. Thank you, Lindsay. I wish that TikTok could see every time Lindsay throws a double thumbs up, she gets.
I'll do the screen share before she leaves so that everybody can see it. 'cause
Yeah,
it's
they
so
deserve it.
good. Stick around. Go ahead, Alex.
It's like, so Evan talks a lot about bad incentive structures, and this is one of the worst, in my humble opinion. So what you end up with is a group of researchers who are trying to pursue an idea, whatever it may be, and they're chasing better sources of funding. One to maybe increase velocity, because that's been a big holdup. One of the reasons that, listen, we're not going to get it all into it, but one of the reasons that the very most recent infamous vaccine was so quick was because they just got a blank check to run through all the things that usually take decades to get money approved for. So they didn't have to wait for 8 years to get like a grant approved to pursue something.
It costs so much.
It costs so much money.
So much.
So you can increase velocity that way by crowdsourcing funding for important scientific research that people would like to see furthered, which is great. But doing it by selling someone a theoretical investment vehicle is awful, because those people are expecting a return and the money's being spent because you are funding someone's research, meaning the team who issues the token collects money for selling the token and then immediately has to liquidate to pay for all of the stuff they're doing.
Because
the
the whole
worst.
point of it is to raise money to fund research, which costs money to do the research. Henceforth, therefore, round table, price of token, no go up, price of token
It's
sad.
terrible. They're
Project
they are
good, project funded. Yay, science.
inherently meant to be bad investments. There is no way for them to be a good investment unless it's bullshit, in which case then the whole purpose is defeated. So it's just one of those things. Cool ass idea, the idea of decentralizing, the scientific method and research and contributions and funding to make it less, like my favorite example is a long time ago, I was trying to decide or learn whether charcoal toothpaste was worthwhile. And I just remember seeing a study about it that was like, no, it's awful. It's going to rot your teeth. And I just looked, and the study was funded by Colgate, who does not offer a charcoal toothpaste option. And obviously they have a vested interest in saying that it's bad. So I'm like, this seems like a problem. And then I just couldn't get any good information about it. And that was a problem for me as a consumer. So like, it's a problem that needs to be solved, but this ain't it, Chief.
This ain't it, Chief, is a good.
This ain't it, Chief.
Clip it.
It's not your day, pal.
It's not your day, pal.
Okay, do we feel good putting DeSci and Bio to bed for now? I will say, I think
Yeah.
we are willing to look at those incentives and look at those companies, and
100%.
we can explore what that would look like. And maybe as a micro-funding model, like well-funded Bio token holders can vote on and be like a first check for somebody who wants to get off the ground, who can't get institutional funding, who's doing some controversial, but I need some proof in the push.
The problem is that this is the perfect utilization of a DAO structure, wherein someone could build the research lab, implement it as a DAO, open, the curtain to funding sources, and then just make it more transparent and collect funding from the normal sources and the normal suspects that way.
Alex, while you pull up Drift, I have to tell you that Web3 Glossary said in the comments, one that people sleep on is calling somebody big dog.
So I have
That's a good point, big dog.
Yes.
my brother-in-law trade jabs on each one of our birthdays every single year. So whenever it's his birthday or my birthday, the other person sends them a quip like "Happy Birthday, Slugger" or "Tiger," and the goal is to every year make it not one that we've used before. And so Big Dog has been one. Chief, Big Guy,
Champ's gotta be in there.
Camp, Sport, Slugger, Tiger, like all of these have been used. There's so many good ones.
Somebody in the audience feels emasculated just listening to this conversation.
Wait, yeah, there was actually a tweet that said "boo" or "baby," and a woman tweeted it and said "big dog."
Yes, correct. Trick question, correct.
Bullish on Big Dog.
Okay, shall we take a quick look at Drift to round out the night? I have absolutely no idea what it is, so it's a total surprise for me, Alex.
Yeah, no, I got you. We did so like Magic mentioned, we covered it recently. Not super recently, it was a little bit ago, because we were poking around DeFi Llama and we were looking for disappearing TVL from certain exchanges and protocols and where it was going, or if it was leaving the ecosystem. And one of the places that it was going, which I will share the chart here so you guys can see what I'm talking about, was to Drift, which is a Solana protocol. Here we go.
Hang on,
So
let me get the screen share. Oh, you got it, Will. Nice. Thank you.
So Drift in a single sentence, full of jargon, brings on-chain cross-margin perpetual futures to Solana.
Wow. I've used Drift. Yeah. I was like, wait a second.
Okay, we're coming to you next.
Okay.
So anyway, you can see this crazy TVL spike here. And this is about when we started to look at it somewhere over in this general vicinity. And then again, I think it was right here, Evan. I think January sounds about right for when they had a pretty big push up and added a couple. What's that noise?
I think Will was riding a horse.
Sorry, that was my fingers on my desk. It's going.
Okay. Sorry, it just freaked me out for a second.
They're coming for you, Alex.
I know. No. Anyway, they added a couple $100 million to their TVL, and now they're floating sort of in that $1 billion mark, a little bit down. But interesting because they have managed to, I think, do a pretty good job of retaining, despite being, I would say, lesser known and being siloed to a single ecosystem. There's a lot of these things. I wouldn't say, obviously not all, but most have definitely gone multi-chain just because of that resistance to being totally siloed. But Solana is one of those ecosystems where you can still get away with having one thing that is unichain. So I can't say unichain anymore because now there is actually a unichain. Damn it, Uniswap.
Oh yeah.
So anyway, it's
solo chain.
There's not a ton to say about this one, but I will say that the market cap of the project is 200 million. And they have 5 times that in TVL, which is pretty sweet.
And then also, if we take a quick peek here, their annualized fees, 20 million, which translates to an estimated annualized revenue of $13.5 million, which is, again, for crypto especially, that is a pretty solid ratio. Usually, so quick background in case you're unaware, usually when a company is being valued, industry standard in the Web 2 world is to go roughly 3 to 5 times this big long acronym that stands for earnings before interest, amortization, depreciation, and taxes. I probably got those in the wrong order, but that's essentially
because it's EBITDA.
EBITDA.
Yeah, that would have been Ibiata.
Is you know what I mean. I got the words in there. Okay?
I knew exactly what you meant.
said the
roast you.
The point is that crypto is more like, hey, how about no revenue and $3 billion market cap valuation?
Hell yeah, sounds
Sold.
good, baby.
Take my money.
So whenever a company,
So will you protect my nut?
and as far as I know, there's only one protocol that is declaring that they're going to protect my
There's
nut,
only
so,
one. That's Pistachio.
there can only be one. Anyway, this is just one of those things that, like, it's really nice when you get to see it, like decent revenue, and by crypto standards, undervalued. So whether or not they can keep it up and do it, obviously, as you can see by this chart, they were flat and tiny for a very long time, TVL wise, and then really started to pick up at this rate. But I don't really hold that against them because if, mid or beginning of 2022, mid 2022, we were deep bear. Nobody was deploying large amounts of capital to brand new sus Solana DeFi protocols, considering FTX was happening. And people thought that Solana was literally doomed and done and gone forever, and the token was $8. And I don't blame this chunk on Drift. So anyway, that's pretty much Drift. DeFi protocol. It's neat.
Yep.
I would check.
I actually got the airdrop on this one. It was part of my
Badass.
airdrop hunting story
Was it a good one?
from 2023 into 2024. I got a bunch of airdrops off Solana. Best one was Jido for a sweet $15,000 because I was like one of like 12 people who did it.
Dang.
But yeah, it was more than 12. But yeah, just going to my wallet and I was like, oh yeah, what was the airdrop hunting? And I was like, here's $15,000. And I was like,
Dude, do you remember
what
seeing
the
tweet?
fuck?
Remember seeing the tweet about that one when that guy was like, I literally staked one soul yesterday and I just got a $10,000 airdrop.
Yeah, it was pretty sweet.
So
But yeah, I got the
that one.
airdrop for Drift, but it was something small. It was a small amount. But yeah, I have only ever used leverage on crypto 3 times in my life, and 2 of them were on Drift. You did some like 2.5x little moves and just kind of experimented. I was playing with it. I was just being active on it in case anything was counting towards airdrop points. So that was it. But it was a nice, easy, simple to use platform. Good interface at the time. I'm sure it's better now because it's been many, many, many months since I've been on. But it worked great when I was on there, and back even when it was in its early days. So seems like it's still going great.
Do we know, is it perpetual crypto futures? Is it commodities? Like what futures?
So
What are
all
you
I saw was for
futuring?
crypto.
Okay. I kind of
But-
figured, but I didn't know if it was.
But that was a long time ago now, so maybe it's changed. I don't know. Maybe they expanded.
With numbers like that,
I don't know. I have it saved as my bookmark. I can go hop in real quick and let you guys know.
You can go hop in real quick. And I would say as we, look at that website. Hang on a second. Let me get the screen share for this. I love their logo.
Ooh.
You're not going to be able to see it so well on this screen share unless, Alex, can you zoom in on it real quick?
Part?
It's me trying to push you to zoom.
On the logo?
Yeah, man. I like the brand.
Mhm.
I like the
Good.
brand.
Yeah, it's clean.
It's the wine bottle theory, dude.
Lindsay, I can't remember. Have I told you the wine bottle theory? I'm curious.
No. What is the wine
Okay.
bottle theory?
Let me run this by and see if you.
Oh God, they increased the amount of leverage you can use. You can use up to.
Will no.
Have
Will.
you heard that you can use 100x leverage? Well, how about 101x leverage?
Oh my
Wait, is
god.
that real? Is it
No, it's
101?
real. Trade the hottest perp markets with up to 101x leverage.
That's incredible.
What? How does that work out? What?
Thing for drift. That's so unnecessary. and
Yeah.
So funny.
We took 100x
Hilarious.
leverage and turned it up One.
One single time.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
I'm
but
just-
while Will gambles his life savings away, tell me of the wine bottle theory, because
It's just crypto, by the way. It's just crypto.
Okay.
So
I kind of
wine
figured, but I was curious.
wine bottle theory is a reference to the fact that I don't know anything about wine. And if I'm ever asked to purchase a bottle for something, which for the record, nobody ever asked me to do, but I like to believe that someday I'll be in a position where someone's like, hey, show up, dress nice, and bring wine. And I'll be like, I got it.
Well, that's when you come on one of my sailing trips.
It's true. Yes. When Will finally adopts me and I get to go on the boat, then I'll bring a bottle of wine. But basically it's just like, if you don't know anything and you're like scrolling through the gajillions of different cryptos, you've got to have something that makes you pop off that thing. Because the way I'm going to pick that bottle of wine is by finding an enticing looking label and being curious enough about it. It's just basic brand. I'm not like blowing anyone's mind here or like having some sort of major epiphany. It's just basic branding. But in crypto, it never gets talked about, like how nice it is to have just like a clean looking icon with a simple name and a nice looking front page that gives me in one sentence with minimal jargon what the hell you're doing here. And Drift has a good looking label, I have to say.
Most book sales are made based on the way the cover looks, so you're
Dang.
right up there.
Damn, it worked on me.
Really worked.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
anyway, guys, I can't wait to go trade meme coins at 101x leverage. It's gonna be so much fun.
Can't wait to hear about it.
And when it
it's
happens,
gone.
we're going to tell you on Rise Up After Dark. That seems like a good spot to say. We are about to take our final questions, suggestions, good jokes, words of wisdom. And Lindsay, as our esteemed guest, we will come to you first. I want to remind everyone that we're here Monday through Thursday, 7 a.m. Central Standard Time, to bring you the Rise Up Morning Show. It's helpful news, commentary, answers to your crypto questions wherever you like to listen. And one quick reminder is that wherever you're listening today, these are our only official profiles. We are never going to reach out to you personally, directly in a private message to say, hey, do you want to join me on WhatsApp or let me trade for you? No offers of any kind. Those people, they're scammers, always. They're everywhere. Use the riseupmorningshow.com to find all of our official socials. Follow us wherever you prefer to be and like us. Really, really like us. And we will do the same for you. We really appreciate you. You're the best part of our show. And I hope to see you at the riseupmorningshow.com to check out Will's trading class, the free how to do your own research guide, or in the Discord server where we can all hang out, where the show lives 24/7 and the only thing missing is you. So before final thoughts, I do have to
What we've all been waiting for.
or do you want to do final thoughts first? Because maybe somebody can earn a couple extra points. You want to do the points first or the final thoughts first? Lindsay, since you're our guest, I'm going to kick it to Lindsay to decide.
Oh, we have to do final thoughts first.
Oh, I'm giving her a point for the gumption.
For the correction.
She's off to a hot start. Okay, great. Then Lindsay, as our guest tonight, do you have a final thought, a question, suggestion, a good joke, or a word of wisdom for our audience before we take our dogs and ponies into the sunset?
I want to circle back to the top of the hour here, hour and a half when we started. Regulation, when done well, is going to be everyone's friend, whether it's innovators, consumers, the regulators themselves, everyone. And so I'm very hopeful that we can move forward with creating a regulatory regime that works for everyone, promotes innovation, protects consumers, and allows this industry to explode in the way that I would love to see it.
I'm giving you a point for it. Thank you very much. Who wants to go next? Alex? Will? Flip a coin? Ask the 8 ball?
I will.
It says Bitcoin fixes this.
I think I'm doomed, so I'll take it anyway.
Yeah, I think I'm in dead last here anyway, so it doesn't matter.
You're
no,
not. You're not in last.
Well, that's the banks.
So you're
That's
telling me
nice.
there's a
I'm
chance.
pretty sure USA is in a dead last, exactly where they
Oh yeah,
belong.
-6.
Yeah, at least.
Not enough glumps were given to USA.
Yeah, but I'm going to ding Will for remembering their exact score. So good luck, Alex.
Shit. Okay. I can do.
Hell yeah, I can do this. I can do this.
Somebody get this man a potato.
As he holds up his wishing potato.
my single wishing spud. No, I just want to say that tonight was a lot of fun. I
fucking love doing After Dark. It's my favorite show. Thank you, Lindsay, for making the time to come on. I do think that I deserve at least a single solitary ding because I did invite Lindsay and she's brilliant and got so many dings for dropping a ton of value. I would echo Lindsay's sentiments that I'm excited about a better regulatory framework, but I would be lying if I said I wasn't a little bit concerned, and I don't have the highest faith in the people tasked with it. But I am glad that at least Commissioner Peirce is there helping and getting more recognition for her conversations and her contributions to the industry, because I've been reading her dissents for years, and they're great, and they deserve more eyes. So I think Commissioner Peirce gets a ding. But other than that, I'm just so goddamn stoked that I get to do this all the time. I'm seeing Alex's new name is Alex Spudovic.
Yeah. Spudovic is so good. So good. I saw that and I was like, oh, that's so perfect.
Mowow gets a point for that.
I'm gonna quit while I'm only marginally behind in the potato counter, and just thank everyone for being here. And Lindsay, thanks again for making so much time to hang out with us for the whole night.
Of course. You are way ahead in the potato counter. You're behind in the game counter.
You were born in the potato.
Yeah.
Merely
You were born and bred in the potato counter.
I was born in them.
Will, what about you, brother?
I don't know. Well, I have my final thought, but this isn't my final thought. I'm just imagining like Alex was a bad boy and like his dad opens up the lid on his crate and just starts piling in potatoes. Just
he took the potato away.
He took the potato away. What are you talking about? I would have loved to have been showered in potatoes.
And that's just bullshit.
But yeah, final thought. This is something we didn't talk about, but it's something if you were in the Discord, you saw a video I posted. I think it's super cool. But and we have no sponsorship at all with Marinade, but with our friends at Marinade, we now offer the highest yield on Solana staking in all of crypto through the Rise Up Morning Show. So with the Rise Up referral link, you can get an extra 0.125% on your Marinade staking, only for native staking, not for liquid staking, but for native staking. If you want to know the difference, you can watch the last video. One of the videos I put up today. I put up like 8. It was a light day.
Is that it?
That was it. It was a light day. But yeah, and the thing is Marinade, a very safe platform. They've been around since 2021. You know, they're the 4th largest decentralized application in all of Solana based on TVL. Sorry, Lindsay, but based on TVL. Yeah, they're a great place to go stake. They offer the highest staking yield in all of crypto. And with our referral code on top, getting you a little bit extra, the Rise Up Morning Show offers the highest staking yield in all of crypto, which I think is neato. If you want to find access to the link, if you're in the Discord, it's in the announcements tab. If you are not in the Discord, why aren't you? But if you're not, you can go on my profile, click the link. You'll see the Marinade staking link is there. It costs you nothing. Why not get more money if you're already staking Solana or thinking about it? So there you go. That's my final thought. And I think that's cool. I'm kind of jazzed. Because usually you're like, click my link. I have a referral code.
Right.
Now it's like, no, this is sweet.
Literally use the link and get more interest. Get a higher yield on your assets. That's
exactly.
badass.
And the most in the entire crypto industry, which is sweet.
No big deal.
Nobody stakes Solana like we do. That is cool. Thank you, Marinade. I am going to give a final thought to say something in a moment, but right now I'm going to just do this. I'm going to give myself a preemptive point because I'm sure whatever I say at my final thought will be fantastic. These are the points as they stand. Oh, damn. Look, Alex, you're trying to get points. I'm going to give a point to Arlo.
He's getting so big.
It's huge.
Let it be known that point is for Arlo, not for you,
Arlo.
Alex. I see what you're doing, and I respect it.
We are a unit.
Eat it.
He's like gonna give a comment.
Put it in your mouth. Teeth.
Oh my god.
Arlo
Arlo
says that since he shit on my floor this morning, I get to have his point, and I think that's a fair trade.
Okay, all right. Then in that case, here are the points as they stand. In last place with -6 points, banks, specifically USAA.
That's
we
not a
have
bank.
got 1 point each for Solum Spartan, Web3 Glossary, and MoWow in the chat. Thank you for your contributions. A point for revenue generating protocols. We've got a point for Nil, 2 points for Nil because he joined us from that 21 Jump Street coded alley. And then in third place with 5 points, it's me, ladies and gentlemen. 5 points and 1 gwump. Thank you very much.
You gwumped yourself?
Well, I didn't gwump myself. Somebody else gwumped me. In second place, it's a tie with 7 points. It's Alex and Will. Congratulations. Which means
but one of those points is Arlo. So like, really, I'm ahead.
You're not taking
I'm
this
ahead.
from me on a damn
I'm ahead.
technicality.
I'm taking it from the puppy.
Which means our winner for the night is our guest and great friend Lindsay Poss. Thank you, Lindsay, so much for joining our show and being gracious when I typoed your name.
That's okay.
That was the gwump.
That was the gwump.
No, that was
my
the gwump,
I got
right.
a big gwump for that. My final thought will be to say, check out the Seeking Alpha podcast. Find Lindsay at Lindsay with an A, Poss, P-O-S-S, on Twitter, and catch her again on Rise Up After Dark soon. We'll see you on the Rise Up Morning Show tomorrow. You can find this replay, Will's fantastic lesson on Aptos from this morning. So much more on our YouTube channel at Faceless Labs or the Rise Up Morning Show. Just search for us and you'll find us there. We'll see you in the Discord. We'll see you on the website. We will see you next time. Until then, my friends, everybody stay safe. Be well.